guys, what's up? It's Matt Wenning at WenningStrength.com, and we changed the background to hopefully help the YouTube algorithm because nobody wants to watch the videos. So we're going to get in today on my top picks for the best squatters of all time. So let's lay them out. The first squatter that comes to mind when I think of all time is Vlad Azov. Now Vlad came from Israel. He was actually Russian, came from Israel and trained with us at Westside Barbell. Now, what makes Vlad one of the best squatters of all time is that he held the world record in equipment at 1,250 pounds and held the all-time world record in knee wraps at over 1,100 pounds. Completely insane. So for those of the people that think that geared squatters are not super strong, Vlad, myself, but Vlad especially is the exception. In just a singlet and wraps, he was right around only 100 pounds less than the top squat in the suit at that time. So think about that, a 1250 squat in gear, which is insane and actually legit, and a 1,100 plus pound squat in knee wraps only. That makes Vlad, in my opinion, you have to put him at least in the top 5, but in my opinion, he's number 1. Okay, the second one, and maybe not number 2, but I would say in my opinion would be number 2, is Andrei Milano. Andrei Milano hit humongous squats for well over a decade and was nearly untouchable in the super heavyweight total for quite a while. I actually got to compete with him when I broke the world record in the next weight class down at 832.5 pounds. I think he squatted 1,035 in knee wraps, I want to say in 2014. And he was way stronger than that beforehand and afterhand, and also had the all-time world record total at Raw with just knee wraps. So Andrei Milano, due to his longevity and his numbers, you have to put him at one of the very tops as well. Number 3, and this is going to get complicated because we have so many different generations, but again, this is my list. You guys can have other people I'd love you to list down below. I would put Captain Kirk Kowalski as in the top 5 as well. Captain Kirk Kowalski squatted 1,003 at 275 back in the mid-90s and was considered the king of the squats for many years. A lot of even my old coaches that are now in their 70s and 80s would still consider Kirk Kowalski as number 1. Kirk Kowalski had an immense build to squat monster weights, fairly short torso, humongous legs, and immense power. There's even videos of him doing, I want to say 950 plus for reps. And we'll try to put that on here while we're talking about that. But I would put Kirk Kowalski in the top 5 as well. Another one we're going to have to put in the top 5, and we've given a lot of love to him in the past, is Ed Cohen. Ed Cohen had world record squats and totals in multiple weight classes, breaking well over 70 world records, and many of them being the squat and the deadlift. I think his squat peaked out somewhere around 1020 in the WPO in the early 2000s or late 90s. But his squatting over 900 in multiple lighter weight classes might be unparalleled. The other thing that makes Ed Cohen a great lifter is that he was good all around, which is why, again, you have to put him in the top 5. And I know that we're talking about squatters only in this particular video, but I still think that has to be into account. The same goes with Andrei Milano. They were good in multiple disciplines. The next person that I don't think gets enough credit to be a great squatter is Steve Goggins. Steve Goggins was the first man over 1,100 pounds, and I watched it personally here in Columbus, Ohio at the Arnold Classic. His squat technique was very crazy. His head stayed high, but he leaned way over into a good morning to squat. The other thing that was impressive about him squatting over 1,100, beating Brent Mikesell to the 1,100 race at that time, was the fact that he did it over 40 years old. So he was an immense squatter for many years, and I don't think Steve Goggins gets enough credit for being such a long distance squatter as far as how long he lasted, but also the numbers he's achieved. And let's face it, first man to break over 1,100 needs to be on this list. So those are my major guys that I think should be in your list. I'd like to know who you guys think. Obviously, everybody has different opinions. We'd more than likely love to hear what you have to say. So list down below what you think. Now, if you have problems with the squat, make sure you keep in touch with us on the squat seminars. Check out WenningStrength.com, or if you're really interested, sign up for online coaching where we dial your squat literally every session to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do possible. Now, we also have a situation where a lot of people can't afford online coaching. We understand, and that's why we've developed TRAINHEROIC, which allows you to have immense programming for the cost of just the programming, no coaching. That way it can be affordable to everyone. So I'll talk to you guys later.